What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for PlayPicks.com, coming to you talking some Monday Night Football. Tonight, we got an interesting game between the Titans and the Texans right here on Monday night. Before we get going here, guys, please hit that subscribe button down below. Please hit the little thumbs up. And let me know in the comments how you're playing this game, whether you're taking a side, whether you like the total, or whether you're taking a pass on this thing, however it might be. But let me know what's going on down there in the comments as well. Hashtag Keep Matt Employed, trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so you can help me get there. Really appreciate that. And of course, this is our last day for the $60 in free bets at DraftKings Sportsbook. If you live in New Jersey or around New Jersey, you want to take advantage of that. The link is scrolling down below. There's links in the description as well. Be sure and take advantage of that. Last day today, right at kickoff of this. Actually, this game is when the offer expires, so you're going to want to take advantage of that. All right, Titans and Texans here. We got dome game again. No weather concerns. Just dome games all over the place. We're not having to worry about any weather. If this is that time of year where you might want to start taking that into account, but don't have to worry about it so far. Titans 5-5, 3-1 at home, 2-4 on the road. Currently in third there in the AFC South, which is a division that probably still up for grabs there. A win would tie them for the Colts for second place in that division right now. Titans coming off a very bad 38-10 loss to that Colts team. If you remember that, just got absolutely destroyed in that one. Marcus Mariota had to leave that game with a stinger. Texans 7-3, 3-1 at home, 4-2 on the road. Currently riding a 7-game win streak, one of the weirdest, flukiest win streaks you'll ever see. Won a ton of games by less than a field goal or less. But hey, it's getting it done. What can you say, right? I mean, like, we're not going to sit here and try and downplay. They won 7 in a row. That's all that really matters. They're sitting first in the AFC South. Beat the Redskins 23-21 in Washington last time we saw them. These two teams did play in week 2. That game ended, the Titans won 20-17, despite the fact that Deshaun Watson threw for 310 yards in that game and ran for 44 as well. They still lost that game. All right, let's scroll down here and take a look at the lines that we've got going on this morning here. Taping this on Monday morning, so of course these can change by the time you see this video or read this article or whatever it might be at playpicks.com. But we'll take a look at how they look right now. You know how it goes. Money comes in, money goes out. The lines change. DraftKings is at 3.5, 42. 888's at 3.5, 42. FanDuel's at 4.42, and BetStars at Texans for 42.5. This total's actually moved a whole point here at BetStars. This was at 41.5, 41.5 at most of these books just even a few hours ago. So of course, people wanting to bet that over. That's just the way that it kind of goes these days with all of this. About 30% of the bets, 33% of the money on the Titans plus the points. So a lot of people taking the Texans so far as of this morning. 68% of the tickets, 85% of the money is on the over in this game. We've seen this again. We've seen this number move here a little bit, so it doesn't surprise me whenever you see that 85% of the money is actually on the over in this thing. Marcus Mariota left the game last week with that stinger, as we were talking about when we're looking at the injury situation in this, but he's going to be starting tonight. Everything seems to be okay with him. Taywan Taylor is going to be out, wide receiver for those guys. Slot corner Aaron Colvin is actually expected to be back in the lineup for the first time in a couple of months. So that's actually a good thing for this Titans team. On the Texans, of course, they lost Will Fuller earlier in the season. They had to trade for Demaryius Thomas. You know how that all went down. Starting guard Zach Fulton is actually questionable in this game. And of course, we know offensive linemen can certainly make a big difference in a game. So we're going to want to monitor that. Nate breaks down the offense and the games and everything here just to kind of run through kind of how we are looking here. Titans 29th in points per game, 30th in total yards, 18th in red zone touchdown percentage, 4th in rush attempts, and 2nd rush percentage. So this Titans team really wants to run the ball. Obviously got that two-headed monster in Deion Lewis and Derrick Henry there. So 30th in rush yards per attempt, however. So they love to run the ball, but they're not very efficient when they do run the ball. So something to keep in mind with that. 31st in pass attempts, of course. If they run the ball so much, they don't have a lot of pass attempts. 30th in pass yards. Offensive line, 9th in run blocking and 10th in pass blocking. So they've actually been doing fairly efficiency. This, of course, is grades by Pro Football Focus. So definitely something we want to keep an eye on there. However, whenever they do the adjusted sack rate, whenever you kind of like take everything into account and opponents and different things like that, they are actually 32nd in the league in adjusted sack rate. So something we one of those advanced statistics right there that basically lets you know that depending on the opponent, they are letting the defensive lineman and whatnot get to the quarterback there. On the Texans side of the ball, 17th in points per game, 13th in total yards, 29th in red zone touchdown percentage, so not very efficient when they get to the red zone, kicking a bunch of field goals when they get down there. 3rd in rush attempts, 4th in rush percentage, so another team that really, really wants to run the ball here. 10th in rush yards, 27th in pass attempts, 29th in pass percentage, 18th in total pass yards. So they are getting chunks. Obviously, they had Will Fuller earlier in the year, a chunk play guy. DeAndre Hopkins, a big splash play guy as well. Offensive line, 30th in run blocking, 23rd in pass blocking. If you're wondering about the pace of these two teams, how that might affect the total here, you got the Texans who are 10th in pace in the league. However, you have the Titans who are 31st in pace in the league. They want to play slow. They want to slow things down. So again, you would expect the Texans maybe to have run a few fewer plays in this game because they're not going to have the ball as much. On the defensive side of the ball, I'll scroll down here a little bit further so you can continue to read if you want to read along while I'm talking. On the defensive side of the ball, 20th overall DVOA for the Titans, 19th overall by Pro Football Focus, 9th in total yards per game allowed, 17th graded unit against the run. So they actually have been graded middle of the pack against the run right there, 10th in rush yards per game allowed, 24th in pass rush ranking, so they don't get a lot of pressure on the quarterback, this Texans front four. 12th in pass coverage unit. So they're actually when they break down the tape, Pro Football Focus thinks that this unit is actually playing fairly well in pass coverage here. 9th in pass yards per game allowed. Overall, pretty solid unit, top to bottom on this on the Titan side. On the Texan side, about this defense, right? And they've actually come back around since J.J. Watt got healthy here. 3rd overall DVOA, 5th overall Pro Football Focus, 7th in total yards per game allowed. 4th unit ranked against the run here. 6th in rush yards per game allowed, 8th best pass rush. Of course, we just mentioned J.J. Watt. Then you've got Jadeveon Clowney as well, so you would expect that they would be up there when it came to pass rush as well. 11th best pass coverage grade, 8th in pass yards per game allowed, and 10th in the league in sacks per game. So this is a very good unit top to bottom in all aspects of the defense here. So coming down here to the picks and how we think that things might go here, let's make a case for the over. A case for the over would be splash plays and turnovers, right? You've got DeAndre Hopkins, you got Deshaun Watson. Maybe they connect on some huge, a couple of huge plays here, get some quick scores, something like that. And then turnovers. We got two decent defenses here. One middle of the pack defense and one really, really good defense. So maybe we have some turnovers in this game, create some short fields, quick scores, maybe even a defensive score, something like that. That could definitely get you to the over in this game. Deshaun Watson, when we talk about this, as well as he's played this year, he has at least one interception in 7 of 10 games so far. He has 2 interceptions in 2 games so far this year. So he will throw a pick. This is a guy that, again, in 70% of the games he's played so far this year has thrown at least one interception in the game. Now, a case for the under, if you're thinking you're leaning towards the under here, maybe it's just the defenses went out, right? We got a middle of the road defense and a really good defense, and they just stifle these offenses, and the offenses just can't get anything going. Another case for the under could be that while they tell us that Mariota is 100%, maybe he's not, right? So maybe Mariota comes in this game limited, ends up having to leave the game or something. They have to go to Blaine Gabbert, whatever it might be. So that could also be a case for the under here. We're also talking about a defensive unit in the Titans that are actually pretty good in the red zone, and the Texans are pretty horrible at scoring touchdowns in the red zone, way down there on the list as far as red zone touchdown percentage when they get in there. So another game there. And then if you're thinking the under, the Texans have crossed that 42 point. So again, we looked at that total, 42 and a half-ish is where we're sitting right now. They've crossed that 42 point barrier, just, the two teams combined, just half the games so far this year, in 5 of the 10 games that they've played. One of those games actually that they went over was a 47. One of the other ones that went over was a 44. So something to think about whenever we're looking at the overs and the unders. However you want to play, maybe something I said can help you solidify how you want to get there. On the player prop side of thing, I'd be looking at, last night we were looking at the overs on the Vikings side of the ball. On the Texans side of the ball, I'd kind of be looking at the unders maybe a little bit to see if maybe these numbers have gotten a little bit inflated here. I would certainly be looking at the unders on the Titans side of the ball, especially the Mariota props. I would be looking at those because, again, we're talking about a guy that is, presumably at least not 100%, right? I mean, he did have to leave that game and didn't come back in because of a stinger, but I mean, we've well documented that he's had arm problems so far this year. So any of the player props on Mariota, I'll be looking towards the under on those if the numbers make sense. So let's talk about where we're going to play this game tonight here, guys. I mean, we got one team with a middle of the pack defense, one team with an elite defense. Both teams don't score a lot of points here. Tennessee has only scored more than 21 points in 3 of their 10 games so far this year. And again, now they're going to be facing one of the top defenses in all of the NFL. They're also one of the slowest paced teams in the league. We talked about that. They're going to slow this game down. I think the defenses play pretty well. I'm probably going to be leaning to the under here if I'm playing the total. I just don't see this game being one of those explosive type of games. Again, we talked about these teams. The Texans combined totals of 42 have only gotten over half the time so far this year. You got the Titans team who's only scored 21 or more in 3 of 10 games so far this year. So for me, seems like an underplay, maybe a teased underplay. I mean, this is a game here where I might not typically play it if it was on a main slate. But I think that this is a game I'm going to play tonight and probably going to tease it. I know you can laugh at me all you want, but I keep cashing these teaser tickets, and so I like cashing tickets, so I'll just keep going that direction. As far as a side, I just see one of these brutal back and forth games. I mean, the first time they played was 20-17, even though Deshaun Watson went for over 300 yards. That was when they had Will Fuller. That was when they had, look, Demaryius Thomas, okay. Demaryius Thomas, fine. That's fine with me that he's in there, but he's certainly not a game breaker, right? He's certainly not one of those field stretchers or anything like that by any stretch of the imagination. I see a back and forth here. I see a brutal kind of like defensive struggle-ish type of game. And when that's a low-scoring game and I'm getting points on a game where I think that this very well could end up being a field goal type situation, as we saw up here whenever we were looking at the lines at FanDuel and at BetStars, we can get 4s there. I'll take the Titans +4 in this situation. Low scoring, defensive type battle game. And when it's low scoring, it doesn't really set up for one of the teams to really beat the other one by a big margin there. So that's where I'm going to go. Probably actually the play for me tonight will be a tease, to be honest with you. I'm going to tease probably the Titans and the under and get that Titans total up to 10. Get me a +10 in this situation with a 48 total there and go the under on this thing. And then I will feel real comfortable with that bet right there. Guys, listen, again, this is last chance today. It ends at 8:20 Eastern Monday for you to get this free $60 at DraftKings Sportsbook. So please take advantage of that. Visit dkpicks.com. It's scrolling in the thing down there below. It's also in the description. You can also go to playpicks.com/bonus for all of our bonus offers. And please hit that subscribe button, hashtag keep Matt employed. Really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers here so we can keep doing these videos, and give me a like. And in the comments, let us know how you're playing the game tonight, whether you're taking the Texans, whether you're taking the Titans, whether you want the over, the under, whatever it might be, or whether this is just a pass for you. Again, the books have to book every game. We don't have to play every game, so don't feel like you have to if you don't like one of the sides or one of the totals, guys. Appreciate it, and we'll be back on Thursday. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. While you're here, hit that subscribe button right down below. Make sure you never miss a video. When you get done doing that, please head to playpicks.com/bonus for the very best deposit bonus and free money offers on the internet.